Hi, this is John Lockwood from Algo-Logic Systems, and so we're demonstrating today a new trend in technology, which is using FPGAs for trading. And so what we put together is a FPGA offload function that takes a NASDAQ itch feed, and it takes a feed that comes in at over a gigabit per second, and uses the FPGA to reduce the traffic down to a limited number of symbols that are actually being traded. So what I can do is I can use the software API that we have here to go in and selectively choose which symbols I want to filter. So I'll filter, for example, this, and this. And so what we see now is that these symbols are no longer being forwarded from the 8,000 symbols that come in from NASDAQ, that only a few, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, are being forwarded on to software for trading. So the way that we're doing this is we're using a SolarFlare AOE card, and what we've built from Algo-Logic is the FPGA gateware that runs inside of the FPGA to implement this filter. And so traffic is coming in on a 10 gigabit fiber, and it's being sent, we're generating the fiber at 10 gigs, it's coming back into the card at 10 gig, and then filtering it down to just a few megabits per second based on those symbols that we're actually trading. And just to show some of the neat things that the FPGA hardware can do is we can also select criteria by which we'll mark trading activity. So for example, when it goes red, that's indicating that a large transaction for the symbol just recently happened. And so we can also have other criteria that are software-defined functions. And so a software-defined function might be if the volatility exceeds a limit, you might want to indicate that. Or in the case of the FPGA hardware, if the total value of a transaction exceeds a threshold, it'll do that. So the bottom line is that by using FPGA hardware, that we can achieve a very deterministic latency, which is a fraction of a microsecond, typically measured in 200 nanoseconds. That's very tightly bound deterministic, so that instead of having a wide variation in time that it takes for software to do a transaction, we have a very tight bound for hardware to do that transaction, and the overall latency also is quite a bit less. So that's the benefit of using hardware for trading. That's what Algo-Logic builds, is low latency trading applications in FPGA hardware.